Whenever I make Tigernut milk drinks and people taste and ask if I added sugar or condensed milk, I'll just blush and be like, why would I? When I'm making the best natural milk drinks in history that is far, far better than your processed milk. I know at this point it's already becoming an addiction, but today I want to show you a twist on how to make this natural milk drink without coconut, and you're going to experience zero milk curdling. This isn't just a milk drink, it is an amazing one that can be paired with your cereals like golden morns, cornflakes, your beverages like tea, coffee, or even custard and pap. You can also enjoy it very chilled like that with your family. So let's get started. I'll be starting off with the first ingredient, which is also our major ingredient for today, and this will be our measuring cup. This is 1 cup and is equivalent to 250 ml. So I'm going to be measuring out 11 cups of the dried tiger nut. I would like to be very explicit with the measurement for today's recipe because of the numerous questions I received from the last video I made about tiger nut milk drink. So for some people that will ask where they can get this cup, you can get it in any store that sells cake items, or if you have any 250 ml cup available at home, just use it and measure out 11 cups of the tiger nut. Then I'll proceed to pick out any unwanted objects from this. Anything that doesn't look like tiger nut is what I'm going to be picking out from here. So take your time and pick out stones and dirt. And for people that will ask if they can make use of the fresh tiger nut, yes, I also have numerous videos on tiger nut milk drink. I'm going to be leaving a link on the description box on how you can use the fresh variant to process this milk drink. I'm done picking, and the next step will be the washing stage. So I'll transfer into a bigger bowl and give it a thorough wash. Guys, this is the most crucial stage of processing this milk drink, because if you don't practice good hygiene and washing thoroughly, you might end up processing a milk drink that might upset your stomach. So I'm very sure you would want people to taste and drink this without rushing to the hospital or wondering what exactly they took. Hold on, it's not that deep, please, but please, for the sake of every other person you might be making this for, and for the sake of yourself too, make sure you wash thoroughly. And for washing this, I'm going to be making use of salt or white vinegar because it helps to remove peptide or whatever germs that might get in contact with this. So you can see me adding the white vinegar. I'm going to wash this. I think I washed up to 3 times. So wash as many times as possible until the water runs very clear. Before I proceed, I would like to say a warm welcome to anybody that is stumbling on my channel for the first time. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Do not forget to click on the subscribe button before you leave, because trust me, you're going to love it here. And do not forget that subscription is absolutely free. And my today's heartfelt shout out goes to every single person that has subscribed on my channel. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for helping this community to grow. And also let me know in the comment section where you're watching us from. As you can see, I added salt on the second wash, but that is not compulsory, because if you have salt, you don't need to make use of white vinegar. If you have white vinegar, you don't need to make use of salt. Any of it can suffice. So this will be my final wash. As you can see how the water is sparkling clean. Can you see? Very, very clear. So I'll just have to go ahead and soak this off for 24 hours. Also make sure that the pot or bowl you're using is very big because it doubles in sizes. So once I add my clean water, I'm going to cover and set it aside till the next day. While that is being set aside, I'll proceed with our next ingredient, and that will be our date. And I'm going to measure out 4 cups of the date. And remember, like I said before, we're practicing absolute hygiene, so we're going to give this a thorough wash. We'll wash until the water runs very clear, and you can either use white vinegar or salt to wash. And also understand that when processing tiger nut milk drink, there is no form of boiling of any sort. That is why I keep emphasizing on practicing good hygiene. So if the environment where you're staying, your compound where you're staying, you guys don't have a good water, please get a sachet or bottled water outside. For your sake and for the sake of everybody that is going to consume this, let me repeat that. So after washing my date properly, I'm going to soak it up for a period of 3 hours so that it can soften. When it gets softened, I will de-seed by using a knife on it. And I'm sorry I lost the clip for that, but it's very simple. Just use a knife and go through it and de-seed. You can keep in your freezer until the next day when the tiger nut will be ready. So this is the next day. This is 24 hours. And guys, can you see my date? Can you see how it's looking? I just brought it out from the freezer, and that is my tiger nut over there. It has doubled in sizes. Could you remember how the quantity of the tiger nut we soaked up the previous day? So it has doubled in sizes, and this is the time to grind or blend everything together. So I'll add inside my Relox blender, add room temperature water and blend. please, a lot of people have been asking the blender that I use. I use Relox blender and I got it from Lagos. But also understand that any good capacity of blender that blend nuts can be able to go through this. If you don't have a good blender, you can blend in your local market. Just make sure that you control the water so that you don't end up with a very watery tiger nut milk after processing. So my filtration process is always using a cheesecloth or chiffon cloth, as you can see right here. So once I'm done blending, I'll transfer into this place and squeeze out the milk. It is very simple. I saw a lot of people on the comment section saying that, oh, this process takes time. It doesn't take time. It is very simple. Squeeze out the milk, blend batch by batch, and you're done. One major reason why I love using this chiffon cloth is that after processing, I don't end up with particles when I'm drinking it. You know those tiny particles? Yes, if you don't use a good filtration process, you end up with tiny particles on your milk drink, and it's not always nice. So this is what I use. It is very good and can be gotten from any local market near you. It actually has different names. Some people call it Muslim cloth, some call it chiffon cloth, some call it filtration cloth. Whatever name it is chiffon cloth. That is what I call it. Also take note that during this filtration process, you're going to make sure that you wash your hand properly if you're going to be using your hands, or you wear a clean kitchen glove. I just remember those days that I did not know how to process this drink. I remember that every single time I buy this from the market and drink it, I will end up with diarrhea. It got so bad that at a point, I was just like, this is not meant for me. I stopped drinking it until sometime years ago that somebody taught me how to make this milk drink. I did it by myself and I did not experience all those stomach brouhaha. That was when it dawned on me that it could just be my system reacting to germ contamination. And trust me, since that time, it's been like 3 years, I have been making this milk drink back to back. So as you're done squeezing out the first batch, get a good chunk of ice cubes and place on the pot where you'll be transferring it to the bigger pot where you'll be transferring your milk into. The reason is that tiger nut milk goes bad quickly, especially when exposed to heat. So if you don't take these precautionary measures seriously, you will notice that before you even finish squeezing out the milk, the taste has changed and you're wondering why it gets soured so easily. So do not play with the ice cubes. Also note that by the time you're done blending and squeezing out the whole milk, the ice cubes must have melted. So it is an additional water to your milk. So please be very mindful of the water you add when blending. It is better that it turns out very thick when you're done processing. You can now add some water to loosen it. I hope you understand and you're following, So the next stage will be to add our ginger. Adding ginger to your milk drink is optional, and if you must add it to your milk drink, make sure that it's in very minimal quantity, like very, very little, because ginger has an overpowering taste. So if you're not careful, you end up making a tiger nut milk that will start tasting just like ginger. So I'll be adding half tablespoon of the ginger and I'll continue to blend and squeeze out the milk. Let me also add that to make this stage very faster, if you have somebody at home that can help you, make sure you guys wash your hands properly, hold each end of the mesh cloth and squeeze out. But the day I processed this particular one, I did it myself. It is not that time consuming, okay? I hope you're still following this recipe and you're not confused at all. But if you have any question, just drop on the comment section. But please make sure that before you ask that question, you watched this video from the beginning to the end, because most of the times your questions are well explained in the video. And you also notice that this mesh cloth comes out very clean at each stage of filtering and squeezing it. Is because I wouldn't want any particles to go into this. So at each batch that I squeeze out, I'll make sure that I wash out the remaining particles in the mesh cloth before I proceed to the next batch. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. So let me calm down and explain further. So when I'm done squeezing out the first batch of the milk, I'll proceed to washing the mesh cloth, like this chiffon cloth, to make sure that there is 0 particles of the tiger nut inside. It's not like I'll be washing with soap or anything. I'll just rinse out with clean water. Then I will now place it back on this pot for the next batch. So that is how I do it over and over again until I'm done squeezing every single thing. And in my last video, some people asked if a pregnant woman can take this, if children are allowed to take this. Obviously yes, except in a situation where your doctor tells you that you're not allowed to take tiger nut milk drink. But aside that, this milk drink is very safe for both children, adults and teens, pregnant women inclusive, older people inclusive. That is how amazing it is. And you also know that this drink can be used as an aphrodisiac. I don't even want to talk about that today because that is not why I'm here. So I am done with that particular stage, and this is the final look of our tiger nut milk drink. This is what we have. Can you see the consistency? This is how I like it. I don't like it very, very thick or very watery. way. I always love it in between. So whatever consistency you want to achieve, that will be fine. And once you're at this stage, the next thing is to bottle it up and keep in your freezer ASAP. Just make sure that you are as fast as possible. So let me quickly talk about the reason why I did not use coconut in this particular recipe. If you notice from my previous recipes, the previous videos that are on my channel, I always use coconut. But today, I want to be spilling the beans on why I did not use coconut for this particular recipe. Before I proceed to that, let me just say that I got 14 liters of the Tigernut milk drink from this particular measurement. So here we have 24 pieces of 50 ml bottle. That's awesome. So let's talk about that. Do you know that adding too much coconut to your Tigernut milk drink can make it curdle or spoil quickly because of its high fat content? See, I understand that coconut makes this milk drink creamier, but I've noticed that using a lot of it can shorten its life shelf, especially without constant refrigeration. So if you'll be making this milk drink in a large quantity, avoid coconut. If at all you use it in moderation. Add very little coconut. But if you're making something that you can just consume immediately within 24 hours, you can go ahead and add as much as you want. This is my actually first time trying to make my Tigernut milk drink without coconut, because a friend of mine suggested it and she said that this is the reason why people complain that this milk curdles up faster. I should avoid using coconut entirely, and I did. And I'm telling you that as at today that I'm making this voiceover, this Tigernut milk drink aged 3 weeks in the freezer and is still very, very good. Nothing happened to it, zero curdling. So if you've been battling how to preserve this milk drink, this is a sign for you to try making it without coconut. But also make sure that you need constant light to freeze up this drink so that it can last as much as you want. And also, to answer the last question of where I get my containers, it is very simple. Search online, Google where you can get packaging containers around you, and anybody that sells cream packaging containers, Zobo containers, they have these containers. I also got mine online. So thank you for watching. See you.